impeachable offenses. House Republicans' investigations have uncovered evidence showing Joe Biden repeatedly lied to the American people about his knowledge and involvement with his son's foreign business dealings. When Joe Biden was vice president, he joined dozens of Hunter Biden's business meetings by phone and in person. Detailed banking records show that the Biden family and their business associates received $20 million in payments from foreign actors in places like Russia, China, Ukraine, and Romania, including payments during Joe Biden's time as vice president. More than 150 transactions involving the Biden family and other business associates were flagged as suspicious activity by U.S. banks. And a highly credible FBI source alleges that Joe Biden received $5 million in exchange for pressuring for the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating the Ukrainian natural gas firm that Hunter Biden was on the board of, Burisma. These are allegations of abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption, and they warrant further investigation by the House of Representatives, which is why the Speaker has directed the House committees to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Biden. The American people deserve transparency, and this impeachment inquiry is an important next step to deliver transparency, facts, and accountability. We are returning, as I said, from very successful and productive August district work periods where members were able to discuss with their constituents our efforts to deliver on our commitment to America, an economy that's strong, a nation that's safe, a future built on freedom, and a government that's accountable. We heard firsthand about the problems facing our communities, including the destructive border crisis that is raging in my home state in New York. Over the August work period, I was proud to lead a bipartisan congressional delegation to the Indo-Pacific and spoke with government and military leaders from our key allies and partners in Japan, Singapore, and Thailand about the looming threat of communist China. Funding our military and bolstering our defense capabilities has never been more critical, which brings me to this week on the floor. House Republicans will tackle head-on passing our defense appropriations bill to counter communist China, eliminate wasteful woke programs infiltrating our military at the Biden administration's ordering, and supporting our brave service members with the largest pay raise ever. Today, we are joined by, I'm going to first turn it over to Chairman Jamie Comer for an update on Oversight.
Thank you, Chair Stefanik, and I appreciate Mr. Emmer letting me jump in here. We have a committee hearing that will begin shortly. I just want to kind of go back to where we were in January when we started this investigation. This was the narrative. The narrative was that the laptop, the president's son's laptop, was Russian disinformation. Hunter Biden was a legitimate business guy, just like Jared Kushner. No Biden ever took money from China, because that's what Joe Biden said. No money ever changed hands while Joe Biden was vice president, and I actually believe that. Joe knew nothing about his son's dealings. And Joe never met with or spoke with any of the foreign nationals who had wired the family money. All of those things have been proven wrong because of the Republican majority and our investigation. Now, in addition, what else we found? We found 20 shell companies. A shell company, just let me make sure everyone understands, it's not a company that manufactures shells. A shell company is a fake company. The Bidens have 20 of these. 20 of these. And when you talk to the president, you could ask, what exactly do these companies do? What good or service do these companies provide? And the answer is nothing. They are not legitimate companies. We found, as Chair Stefanik said, 170 major bank violations. These were from 6 major banks. And they alleged that the Bidens were, among other things, money laundering and receiving suspicious wires from state-owned entities. You know what that is in banking terms? That's a foreign government. And you know what the state-owned entity was? China. So the bank alleging that the Bidens took a suspicious wire from the Chinese government and then laundered it through these shell companies. There's many laws broken there. And this was in Treasury Cabinet. And this is what I fought to go to Treasury to get. These are very serious allegations. Associated Press just wrote a story that said there's no evidence of wrongdoing. What a disgrace to journalism. And I don't complain much. I'd take it. But that's just not true. We also learned that 9 Biden family members have received money from foreign entities. 9 families, including the president's granddaughter, who received a wire that had been laundered to the shell companies from Romania days after the president left Romania when he was vice president. That's hard to explain. The Bidens received over $20 million. My question to you, what did they do to receive that money? No one can answer that question. $20 million. Is there not any curiosity as to what they did to receive $20 million? We also found a Form 1023, an FBI form alleging Joe Biden took a bribe. And what we learned from this is the FBI never investigated this allegation. And in the FD 1023, it said that investigators would take 10 years to figure out where these bribes went because of the various bank accounts that they wired the money through. That was written years before anyone knew the Bidens had shell companies and the Bidens were laundering money. And what we see in the FBI form that no one ever investigated is a consistent pattern with what we found in Romania and China and other places. We also discovered that Joe Biden's used at least 3 pseudonyms on over 5,000 emails. We know one of these, his son was copied in a pseudonym that pertained to Ukraine. We've also just recently discovered an email from the State Department, from the Obama State Department, to Viktor Shokin, the prosecutor who Joe Biden fired in Ukraine in exchange for the $1 billion, praising him for the great work that he did. But there was this narrative that Joe Biden created that said Shokin was corrupt and he needed to go over there and be fired. But we have an email weeks before Joe Biden went over there praising Shokin for the good work he had done in reforming corruption from the John Kerry State Department. So we also have testimony from Devin Archer saying that at that same time period Joe Biden went to Ukraine to fire the prosecutor, that Hunter was being squeezed by the owners of Burisma to call D.C. for help. This is all in a timeline here. This is why Speaker McCarthy launched the impeachment inquiry. And I think the CNN poll 2 weeks ago that showed 63% of Americans believe Joe Biden was involved in his family's business schemes is reason why we should be investigating this. Moving forward, we have requested unredacted pseudonym emails from the National Archives. There are over 5,000 of those that we want to review. We have to get President Obama has to sign off on those, so he's supposedly reviewing them as we speak. We hope to get those. We hope to get the president's son and brother's personal bank accounts. We also want to interview people who have knowledge of some of the things that President Biden may have done in exchange for the millions and millions of dollars that his family received from these foreign nationals. And lastly, we plan on having a hearing in September that will kind of evaluate some of the things that we believe have happened from the Biden family that are in violation with our laws. So with that, I hope I answered some questions as to the evidence that has been found, the purpose as to why we have moved to impeachment inquiry, and the path forward. What I said in January holds true to today. We are following the money, and we will see where that leads us. Thank you, and I yield back.
Great. We'll now go to Ken Calvert, our Cardinal on Defense Appropriations.
Thank you, Elise. We obviously have an appropriation bill up today, right after the rule. The defense bill is one of the most important bills that Congress will consider this year. As chair, I prioritize DoD funding on war-fighting mission instead of the culture wars. This bill increases funding to counter China, promote innovation, and eliminate bureaucracy. It enhances DoD's role in countering the dangerous flow of illegal drugs into our country, which is killing more Americans than any recent conflict. The bill also includes historic base pay increase, an average of 30% for junior enlisted members. While the Biden administration is pushing their own social agenda on our military, this bill focuses DoD's leadership to get back to their job, protecting the United States and protecting our interests abroad.
And we'll now hear from our whip, Tom Emmer.
Thank you, Elise. Good morning. Hope you all had a successful and restful August. It's good to be back in the People's House, where House Republicans are ready to continue delivering on our promises to the American people. One important aspect of our common sense agenda is actually protecting Americans' financial privacy particularly when it pertains to this lawless administrative state. That's why I reintroduced a bill yesterday called the Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act, which puts a check on unelected bureaucrats and ensures that the United States digital currency policy upholds our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. Recent actions from the Biden administration have made it clear that they are not only itching to create a digital dollar, but they're willing to trade Americans' right to financial privacy for a surveillance-style CBDC. This bill ensures the future of crypto is in the hands of the American people, not the administrative state, by prohibiting the Federal Reserve from creating a tool with unfettered insight into Americans' financial data. If not open, permissionless, and private, like cash, a CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. We're not going to let that happen, not on House Republicans' watch. And I want to thank the Financial Services Committee for considering our bill this month, and we're going to continue working to ensure that the digital economy is designed by Americans and emulates American values. And I return it to the conference chair.
Great. Happy to take questions. Yes.
So yesterday, a lot of the Freedom Caucus folks said that they may not be voting in favor of the defense appropriations bill. As of right now, do you have enough votes to get the rule passed? And if not, what's the plan?
Well, we can tell it's the first day of the week. This is always the question. We're going to work through the process as we have. We've been underestimated from the very beginning of this Congress. Our whip is doing a great job communicating with all of our members, and we're confident that we're going to continue to work through that and move forward the appropriations process. Yes.
Thank you. We understand House Republicans plan to put the disaster supplemental spending request in the Homeland Security Appropriations bill that'll come to the floor, we believe next week. Senate Democrats aren't going to support that bill. The White House isn't likely to support that bill. Is there concern within the conference that this strategy is going to hold up disaster relief funding indefinitely, that communities that are responding to these extreme weather events say they need now?
We are working through regular order, and I want to point out the Speaker traveled to Maui over the August recess. I also received a briefing when we were in Hawaii on the way to our Indo-Pacific delegation, and those conversations are ongoing with members to work through the appropriations process, but we're fully committed to making sure that we're working through that in regular order and getting all members' feedback. Let's take a step back here. In the past 8 years, the Senate has not worked through regular order when it comes to appropriations. They've always jammed the House with an omnibus. And because the House has been doing our job, we passed the Veterans Appropriations Bill and are working through regular order. And because of Speaker McCarthy's leadership, we feel that we're in a better place to continue to do work on behalf of the American people. And that includes disaster relief, but also making sure that important priorities like our defense spending, that we get that across the finish line. Yes, sir. Sure.
I'm interested, how confident are you that House Republicans will be able to do their part to avert a government shutdown by the end of the month, and will that take continuing resolution?
We're just going to keep working with every single Republican member and try to keep doing the job that we've been doing.
Great. Thank you.